This is KOOP HD1 HD3 Hornsby, radio for people, not for profit. Welcome to Volumes, the Austin Public Library radio show. Each week, we explore how your library is more than books. The library is knowledge, technology, and inspiration for our community. Hi there, listeners. This is Kanya Lyons, and I'm today's host. Today we're celebrating our 100th episode of Volumes. Yeah, thank you. Right here on KOOP 91.7 FM, and we're streaming at koop.org. Yeah, we've been doing this for almost 2 years now, and so we have some really, really special guests here to talk about some of the different things that we love about the Austin Public Library system. And for those of you that don't know, that also includes the Austin History Center. So let me introduce our guests. One of our guests here is Tim Hamblin, and he's representing the Austin History Center. Say hello.
Hi there, and congratulations on your 100th show and on your birthday. Happy birthday.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, I'm older today than I was yesterday. I won't tell you how I'm old. And then one of our other guests here today is Bill Donaldson, and he's representing for the Carver branch. Welcome, Bill.
Welcome, and happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
You're still a youngster.
Aw, thank you. I appreciate that. And our other guest is Federico Pacheco, who is he's still currently volunteering for the library, but you've now taken on a role here at Co-op Radio. Can you, hi, welcome, Federico. Say hi.
Welcome, Kanya. Welcome, everybody. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
I was telling DJ that it's not the same 100 episode that 100 birthday. So let's please not confuse.
No, yes, yeah, thank you.
Yes, I'm
not
happy.
my 100th birthday, but almost halfway there. But yes, so you're now, I can't remember the exact name of your role, but you're one of the few employees here at Co-op. Most of the people that work at Co-op are volunteers who do the shows, but you're actually helping with the behind the scenes.
Yes, I was recently offered to assume as a general manager.
General manager. Congratulations, Federico.
Happy to be here. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, after volunteering with the library for a year, helping with this radio show, amongst other lots of little projects that we kept you busy with, and now you turned that passion for radio into a real job. Tell me how that works. And of course, as always, we have DJ Harris here, engineering, and also formerly with the Austin Public Library, now a librarian at ACC as well as a DJ here at Co-op.
So happy to be here, and congratulations on 100 episodes. That's not nothing. That's a really, really big deal.
I'm pretty proud of us. I think we did a good job, all of us.
Absolutely.
And, this is great to have all these former guests and also people who've worked on this show. So today's theme, besides celebrating our 100th episode, is that we're going to just talk about some of the things that we all really love and appreciate about the Austin Public Library system. And all of, again, that includes the History Center. A lot of people don't know that the Austin Public Library includes the Austin History Center, which is a treasure trove of local information, local history. So maybe can we start with you, Tim? Can you tell us a little bit about the Austin History Center and your role as a video archivist and what that entails?
The History Center is basically the memory of Austin, and we have records of newspapers, tax records, of houses, of biographical materials, thousands of books on Austin's, and photographs, over 1 million images. Lots of video, and I'm the video archivist, so I'm a little biased in that area. And I'm really excited about that we now have a YouTube channel with a couple of thousand subscribers, and that means we're allowed, with some of the materials we have, we can actually share with the whole world with some of this stuff. And some of the footage is very rare and valuable that people don't realize. We've just, there's been a new film about Blaze Foley is out, and we have 3 songs, original songs, Blaze Foley, and that suddenly is getting 1,000 hits a day.
Oh my goodness.
That's taking off. So it's stuff like that is really, really cool for my job in particular. It's a little bittersweet in some ways because we've just lost another Austin musician, MC Overlord. So digging through the archives and put some of his material up. But generally, it's a real positive thing, and we're very lucky to have it.
Yeah, I honestly, like, I'm a huge fan of the Austin History Center's YouTube channel. I've spent countless hours kind of like, looking through and finding all kinds of treasures. Like, as somebody who has lived here for like around 30 years now, I, have found videos of bands that I used to see when I was 15 years old, and like stuff that really takes me back, and stuff that just other like amazing Austin history and Austin music, musicians and stuff. And there's a documentary about the Victory Grill. We played a little excerpt of that on the show one time.
Uh-huh.
And there's just so much cool stuff. Like, you could just totally waste a whole day, like, just
Yeah, we just recently
digging through.
we had a lot of interest in a documentary on Armadillo World Headquarters and the artists and that. Sadly, Michael Priest passed away just recently.
Heard about that.
But people were very thankful that we had some recorded material of him, and he was such a wonderful guy. So, like I said, sometimes it's bittersweet, but we're very lucky to have it. It's a great service to provide to the public.
Yeah. No, the History Center is really cool. It's a great place too. Like, a lot of like local documentarians, filmmakers go there looking for old, either old footage, old photographs, or even just old, historical information.
Yeah, we have I'm dealing with about 3 or 4 different people doing documentaries at the moment. Everything from documentaries on, Henry Lee Lucas, the murderer, to musicians in punk rock in Austin. So that's really cool. It's also cool that we have lots of events. So Sunday is Austin Museum Day in the city, and the History Center is participating that with a family-friendly event. So that's a really cool event where people can come and really check out the History Center and see what's going on there. So.
Neat. That's open to the public. Anyone is
yeah.
able to go.
That's 1 to 5 on Sunday.
Fantastic. Wow. Well, let's get back to talking a little bit more about the History Center here in a minute. Let's switch gears and talk to Bill Donaldson over here. How's it going?
It's going just fine. This is this year is 6 years now that we've been doing the Bad Film Festival at the Carver Library.
Yeah.
And we've also expanded to where we're trying to show a B movie a month for most months.
Nice.
This month is a week from tonight. Mm-hmm. At 6:30, we're screening Angry Red Planet, which is a seriously cheesy 60s sci-fi film. Next month, for our Halloween theme, we're doing It Conquered the World.
Nice.
Which has that's a 50s sci-fi film, but it has the notoriety of having been mentioned in the introduction of a Mothers of Invention song.
Oh, that's so cool. And like, you can say you were our very first guest on this show, episode number 1. You were our guest on our 50th episode, and now this is our 100th episode. And once again, you're here to talk about. I see a
pattern developing.
I see a pattern too, and I like it. And one thing that surprised me, I always knew you did the Bad Film Festival. You also organize an open mic at the Carver branch and a lot of other cool stuff. But I had no idea until that very first episode that you did, 99 episodes ago, when you were like, oh yeah, and by the way, I worked for Roger Corman in LA back in the day. And I'm like, oh, well, no wonder you have a love of B movies and run a Bad Film Festival.
Well, yes, and I grew up watching television in Houston, Texas, and as a child, after the 10 o'clock news on Saturday, one of the stations had a program called Weird, and a program following it called Late Weird, and they were black and white horror films and sci-fi films, and just the worst things they could dredge up, and
wow,
you just develop a love for it. Now, you mentioned the open mic.
Yeah.
We've got 2 more open mics in this, our second year of the Read It, Sing It, Let Us Hear It open mic. There's one coming up on the 29th, and then on the 27th
and those
of October.
Are Saturdays?
Those are Saturdays. It's 1 to 4 in the afternoon. Anyone can come in and participate with music, storytelling, poetry, comedy. If you want to get up and dance, you can get up and dance. We have instruments available for people who want to just come in
A
and
whole
play.
PA system. You got a piano. It's a great setup. I've seen it. It's amazing.
We've even started planning already for an all-star get-together, doing a few songs in January. So
Cool.
we'll kick off our third year.
That's fantastic. And yeah, you have quite the dedicated crew of folks that really have built a community around that program. And that's just priceless. I love that.
It's always fun, and there's always someone new who makes an appearance. So
Great. Fantastic. Well, I'm being told by our fantastic volunteer, Federico, that it's time to learn about some of the events that are happening at the Austin Public Library this week.
Hey there, Austin. This is Zane from the Teen Library Council here to tell you about this week's library events for teens. Ever wanted to learn more about 3D printing? How do you even begin designing an object? Learn the basics of 3D printing and learn the tools to make and share your own objects at Blueprint, the new 3D printing and design bootcamp. Blueprint has its first meeting on Saturday, September 22nd from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. in the Central Library's teen area. This program is reserved for ages 13 through 18. Sign up is required. More details and sign up information on Blueprint and additional programs can be found at library.austintexas.gov/events.
This is Alana Graves, the youth librarian at the Carver branch. The kids are starting to go back to school, and the Austin Public Library is offering free events for kids. This Saturday, September 22nd at 12 p.m., the University Hills branch is hosting a Perler Bead Saturdays event. This program will show kids how to create their own artwork using teeny tiny beads. Kids can create pop art, pictures, coasters, magnets, and learn how to light up their artwork using LED lights and circuits. All crafting supplies are provided. Kids just have to bring their patience and creativity. Details at library.austintexas.gov.
You're listening to Volumes, the Austin Public Library radio show on Co-op 91.7 FM and KOOP.org. Radio for people, not for profit.
This is Art Baker, host of Jamaican Gold and Vice President of Co-op's Board of Directors. On behalf of all of the volunteers at Co-op, I would like to thank all of our members who supported us during our fall membership drive. Your contributions have made this drive the most successful to date. Members like you allow us to continue our mission to provide a voice to the underserved in the Austin community, train community members in the art of broadcasting, and provide unique content only community radio can provide. If you did not get a chance to contribute during the drive, you may join us at koop.org. Once again, thank you.
Support comes from Twin Sister Dance Hall's Raise the Roof Cook-Off and Festival, Saturday, September 22nd, starting at 9 a.m. in Blanco, Texas, featuring live music, chili and barbecue, kids' activities, a domino tournament, silent auction, and buggy rides. A dance featuring honky-tonk musician Weldon Henson at 7:30 p.m. closes out the festival in true Texas style. More information at twinsistersdancehall.com.
All right. Hello there. Welcome back to Volumes, the Austin Public Library radio show, right here on KOOP HD1 HD3 Hornsby, streaming also at koop.org. You've got it tuned to the right station. So today we're talking about library love, all the things we love about the library, what makes the Austin Public Library unique and special. And we've got a handful of guests. We've got Tim Hamblin, who works at the Austin History Center. We talked with him a little bit at the beginning. We've got Bill Donaldson, who works at the Carver branch, and we were just talking to him right before the break. And we also have Federico Pacheco, who has been a volunteer with the library for over a year now, helping with the radio program as well as a lot of other communications and media specialties. And we're going to get into a discussion with him here in just a second. I just wanted to take a brief moment because there's one person who was unable to be here today but wanted to be here, and she's kind of been a part of the program since the beginning, on and off. She used to do our children's events, and I'm talking about, of course, Ann Minner, who is now the Old Quarry branch manager. And she sent us a little note saying, I can't make it, but what I love best about the Austin Public Library is the sense of community found in a public library. Strangers sharing tables where they read and study, all ages coming together for programs, and staff and regular patrons becoming acquainted over time. So she's talking about sort of the community that evolves around a library. And actually, we were just talking about that before the break with Bill Donaldson. The open mic that he organizes at the Carver branch has developed into a community of people. And they show up, they get together, and it really connects them in a way that, that kind of thing is really priceless these days. Actually, real quick, while I'm on the gratitude theme, I would also like to just mention, I'd like to thank all the listeners who participated in the 10-day membership drive. We just really want to say thank you for listening, and thank you for being members of the co-op community. And now, without further ado, I'm going to introduce Federico Pacheco again. Hey, Federico.
Hi, Kania. How are you?
I'm doing great. So tell me, what inspired you to want to volunteer at the library? I mean, of all places. You had just moved to Austin, right?
I was just a few months after I moved from Dallas, and been there for the last 12 years. And it was, when you get to volunteer in any place, it's really a lucky thing, because you happen to do what you wanted to do. Okay, you don't have to. You decide to volunteer in those things that you like to do. So it was what I was looking to get involved with the city, get involved with the community of Austin. I saw this. I used to visit this site dedicated exclusively for volunteers opportunities. And I saw this big sign that say, do you love radio?
Yes, I do.
And do you love books? And I say, this is the right place. So it happens to be more than a year. It was, I never forget the first day, May the 5th, the day that I started the library. And I felt, the luckiest person in the world, because I happened to do not only volunteer and get inside this house of storytelling that is a library, but also the opportunity to connect with this other storytelling house that is the radio. So much the two things that I have been, loving for all my life was a great opportunity. And I did all the things for working for you. Kanya was my supervisor, and still is my supervisor. She's fleeing now that I was able to become a little bit like a supervisor for her, but I won't have that opportunity. But I think, every volunteer at the library is a volunteer. I have talked to several of them, and they are very happy and enjoying to dedicate time for that. But somehow I feel the luckiest one, because I have been doing a different kind of work for the library, which is helping you to produce the volumes. And I remember it was the 26th episode, more or less, 26, 27. And I have been behind the scenes for from the 25th to now. And we have one more to go next week. And I feel very, very, very lucky, and the opportunity. I will be always grateful to the library, grateful to the people. I have been working as a professional in the communication business in the last 2-3 years from my home, doing consulting and doing stuff. So have this opportunity to also not just to go to the library, but meet people, talk to people, learn people, coming here to the radio, just being in contact with the people here, and also an excellent group of volunteers here in the radio is just great.
Oh, you said so many wonderful things. And for me, the library really feels like a family. I think for those of us that work there and those that volunteer there, but I think even a lot of customers people that use the library feel like it's, an extension. It's a community. Maybe family is a stretch, but for me, it does feel like a family. You mentioned, or you alluded to, the Challenger Street newspaper the next week's episode. So normally on the third Wednesday of the month, we feature writers from the Challenger Street newspaper reading their work aloud. Since this is our 100th episode, we have actually decided to have a live episode with some guests, but we are going to air the Challenger Street newspaper writers next week. And that's a project that for a while I was recording them and editing them together, and then I didn't have the time, and that was a project that you have taken over for the last several months and done a really wonderful job. And it really means a lot to give them a voice.
And it has been a kind of, unique experience with them, because it's not just doing, recording and putting together the show, but also to learn about these homeless people they are very smart, very talented. And you don't only learn from what they read, what they write on the newspaper, but also you have the chance to talk to them, and learn from them, and somehow figure out how do they get where they are right now. And as a human interest is something that is very special. And hopefully, although we will have as a volumes the last episode next week, we are looking for ways to keep that show at least once a month or once every 2 months, to keep it alive in one of the spaces that we have here on Co-op Radio. And that will be great.
Yeah, I talked with Greg Ciotti, who does the, the community...
Reflections of Community Outreach?
Yes. And yeah, he's interested. There's also the pilot show.
Pilot show. Mm-hmm.
He featured them once. So there's some possibilities. It's really rewarding getting to know and having that human connection with the writers at the Challenger. It has been very meaningful for me personally. And their stories are really great. And the Challenger Street newspaper is actually available at the Austin Central Library for anyone who wants to read it. What?
Maybe at the History Center?
Maybe.
It might be at the History Center. I hope so. If not, we can have a conversation offline. So now let's just kind of open up. Let's just have a conversation with all of us, and we can just talk about, let's reminisce about the library. Like, anybody have any early library stories from when they were kids or adults even, maybe?
Well, I can say for me, it's coming from other culture, other country, where libraries are really a luxury. So you don't have that unless that you go to university or you have the chance to live next to the National Library, and that is the same for most of the Latin American countries. Unless that you go to a university, there are not too many public libraries, or if there are not as full field of service like we have here. So just being for me, just being here and learn about the Austin Public Library, and the kind of not only, like I say at the beginning, for me it's not a library, it's a house of storytelling, that somebody from the past is telling me something, now in the present is also telling me something, and it's a constant discovery. That opportunity, when you have that chance, is really a positive thing and make an impact in the life. So I grew up, I was lucky enough to grow up in a family that was, my great-grandparents were writers and novelists, and my father was a journalist. My grandfather from my mother's side was also a journalist. So I grew up surrounded by books. But the books that I have access were their own libraries, so I didn't have a chance to have access to those books until I came here to study and see the value that this society and this community give to the libraries.
Yeah, I like how you call it a house of storytelling. I think that's a really amazing description, because it really is about storytelling. I mean, and books used to be the primary vessel for storytelling for thousands of years. But as we know, times change and technology moves forward. So we have all these other ways of storytelling now, and all of those, are available at the library. We have videos, we have, audio, not just audio books, but music, and when I was a kid, the library's music collection was mostly classical music. You weren't going to find your favorite Led Zeppelin record at the library. But now, the CDs at the library really encompass a broad range of tastes and genres. And it's mind-blowing how much cool stuff is out there. And then, of course, there's all the online stuff. You can download the virtual library. You can download it or stream it. And a lot of stuff, it's really neat. Your library card gives you access to this whole world of resources that, for some people, they may not have access to that stuff if it wasn't for the library card. So I think that's super cool. Wow, we're getting to the end here. Anybody else want to add anything?
Well, I must admit, I'd just like to say I don't know if a lot of people in Austin really realize what a wonderful service the Austin Public Library gives, because coming from England and some of the smaller places, sometimes the libraries were open 2 or 3 afternoons a week. They weren't fully serviced. They don't have, I think that in Austin we're very lucky to have the Austin History Center where people can come and research their houses, their family, and lots of other things. So people sometimes complain about library services, but actually I think they are very lucky here and a lot luckier than a lot of other places. So support your library, folks.
Yeah.
The Austin Library is a place where you can walk into a building and check out a book on 18th century French painters that's the size of a coffee table. And just around the corner from that, you can check out a book on the punk rock scene in Austin in the 80s.
Yes.
You can check out a movie of a Belgian movie with English subtitles based on a Dutch mystery author's novel that has not yet been translated into English. But you can also check out all 11 seasons of The Jeffersons.
Yes.
That's true.
So there's a little something for everyone.
Absolutely. Wow. I love how you, and that sounded very specific, like that's a specific film you're talking about.
And a good one, I should add.
Oh, yeah? What's it called?
I believe it's called Memory of the Killer.
I'm going to have to look for that. That's not one of your bad film festival films? No. That sounds like yeah.
It's actually, it's a very good thriller.
Highbrow foreign film.
Actually a good film.
Oh, this has been so much fun. Gosh. We're getting kind of close to the end, but we got a little more time, a little more library love. It's been such a fun ride. I can't believe this is our 100th episode of Volumes, the Austin Public Library radio show. And we're in the studio with 3 guests. Today, Tim Hamblin from the Austin History Center, Bill Donaldson from the Carver branch, and Federico Pacheco, who has been volunteering with the library for over a year now, and he's now the general manager of Co-op. So given that he has a full-time job, he's no longer going to volunteer with the library, but it's been a great run.
I hope to have the opportunity to continue volunteering in some capacity to the library, because I will be always going to the library anyway. So, and I'm a heavy user of the library virtually and physically. So I will be there. And if there is an opportunity to serve the library from here, I will do it. I will be glad to do it.
Yeah, this has really been a really wonderful partnership between the Austin Public Library and Co-op Radio. It's been great to have this platform. And all of our episodes are actually available to stream or download. We podcast them, and details about that are available at library.austintexas.gov/volumes.
Kanya, I just want to step in right fast and say, so this is our 100th episode of Volumes, and that means that's 100 weeks that we've been on the air. And I have been thinking back to 100 weeks ago, and I remember when we first started the show, we were on Co-ops After Hours on Wednesday evenings, and we were all a little bit nervous and everything.
Yes.
But Kanya, you came in and you've been so professional and you've done such a good job on this. It's just been a whole lot of fun working with you, but also seeing what your skills at play. You're really, really good at this. Last week I was filling in for you and I interviewed Grace McAvoy, one of Tim's coworkers at the Austin History Center, and I was like, Dad gum, Kanya does such a good job. Afterwards, I had no idea, but you've done a really, really good job, and I want to thank you for your service to the Co-op and to the Austin Public Library.
Thank you,
Aw,
Kanya. and
thanks,
happy
y'all.
birthday.
Oh, on that note, I'm gonna say goodbye. We'll see y'all next week. Thank you. Thanks for listening to Volumes, the Austin Public Library radio show. Special thanks to our producer, DJ Harris, and to the musicians who composed and performed our original theme song, Andrew Noble on violin, Kirk Duvall on guitar, and Mike Wheat on percussion. And thanks to you, our listeners. Volumes, the Austin Public Library radio show, airs Wednesday afternoons at 2:30 on Co-op 91.7 FM and koop.org. If you catch us mid-show, full episodes and other details can be found at library.austintexas.gov/volumes.